only available here at BlizzCon. They sold out the first day. They found a few more. They're selling out today. They're very limited edition.
And that's Ed Freeze with fingerprints here on the floor. Back to you guys at the desk.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Joe. Yeah, fingerprints is very cool. You can get the little 3D printed version of your character from World of Warcraft. And joining us now is Paul Sands from Blizzard for Day 2 of BlizzCon. Yes. Paul, let's talk a bit about some of these amazing exhibitors you have here, and companies like Fingerprints and all these guys that really license the Blizzard merchandise. How important is it for you to find these partners that can do these really cool things set around the universe?
Well, it's important to us, and a big part of it for us is we don't put out games every other month. Right. And so the players...
Not even every year sometimes.
Well, exactly. So for the players, they love these franchises. They oftentimes are wanting to get more. And so for us, we look at it from the perspective that we want to feed them snacks in between the meals, I guess is the way I like to say it. And so with all these various games, they have an opportunity to steep themselves more in the universe. If you're reading the novels as an example, you can get a feel for what's happening in other kind of areas of the universe. We also sometimes will kill characters off in those books, so it's important to read them, and it helps really progress the storyline, and everybody seems to really like it.
Another one of your partners is on the floor, which is Future Plus. I believe that's how they're called, Future Plus magazine. And they're going to be publishing the new World of Warcraft magazine.
Yes.
And so is that going to be written by them, written by Blizzard? Is it a partnership? What's going on with that?
We really view it as a partnership. The folks that they've assembled on their editorial team are incredible. Some folks that really have great track records in gaming. And so we're really excited about that opportunity. But then on the other side, we have a whole creative development group in our company that works specifically with our licensed partners, and they're able to work as a middleman between the game development teams and the various groups within the organization. So we really feel like we're going to be able to pull in the Blizzard flavor to it. It's going to be a great magazine. We've already started seeing some of the proofs, and I got to tell you, I don't think there's anything out there that's quite like this, and I think people that end up subscribing are going to really love it. It'll help them with their gameplay experience and help them become even more steeped in the world.
Are you planning on releasing any type of exclusive information in it, or just like more in-depth coverage than what you're able to get online?
It's going to be both, really. I mean, we're certainly going to keep some exclusive information for our various normal PR channels, and for shows like this and other places, but there will be things that will be first-timers in that magazine, and I think it's going to be exciting for folks because they won't be able to get some of it anywhere else.
I'm excited. When is that supposed to launch?
I think our first issue is supposed to be late this year.
Excellent.
So we're excited about that.
I will have to subscribe.
Now, you guys are, as you mentioned, you're doing books, you're doing a lot of great things in terms of supporting the content of these games. But you guys do such amazing cinematics. I know a lot of the fans stand here and watch them, and you are doing a World of Warcraft movie. But have you guys thought about doing, longer form versions, like animated TV show or movie based around some of these game franchises?
Well, I can tell you this: the cinematics team certainly has.
Right.
Yeah.
They, I think that's definitely an aspiration for them, and what we're really trying to do is get that team to a place where they can fulfill all of the different needs for all the different game teams, both for the in-game and the fully rendered, or the pre-rendered, I should say, cinematics. Once they get to that point, then we'll see. I mean, they certainly have the skill set from my perspective. They're telling incredible stories in these short 2, 3, 4, 5-minute cinematics, and so I think they've got the chops, and maybe, and I say maybe, there'll be an opportunity for some input from them on the movie. We'll see how it works. Sam obviously will have a big say in that, so I think they're going to be on their best behavior trying to convince him.
Yeah, well, the stuff they do is just so phenomenal. And I know, here at the show, you showed some new footage from, World of Warcraft Cataclysm and Diablo. It was all in-game stuff. When are we going to see another big cinematic from the cinematics team? I assume they're going to do a big open for Cataclysm that we'll see at some point, right?
Well, we haven't said when they're going to bring their next big thing yet.
Okay.
What I would tell you is the cinematics that we're seeing for StarCraft 2 are absolutely sick.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's biased because that's my favorite game, but no, they're really good. And that team, I always have a high level of confidence, as does the rest of our company, that whenever they deliver something, it's going to be the top-notch experience. And so we're geeked up about seeing that next, and I'm excited to see what everybody's reaction is.
Absolutely.
Exciting. We saw the preview on the cinematics team yesterday, and it looked to us from what we were seeing is that the cinematics team is maybe as big as your other development teams. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. They're well over 100 people in that group at this point.
Right.
And we've grown that team not only because they're doing the pre-rendered that they've always done,
right,
but they're also doing a lot of the in-game cutscenes for StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
And so all that work you see there is being done by folks that have traditionally done our cinematics. And so I think what's happening is it's really raising the bar on what you're going to experience in the actual gameplay experience. So it should be good.
That's all right. Well, let's go to another tweet here for you,
yes,
Paul.
Yep.
This one comes from Ann, and she says, one more comment. Can you make a World of Warcraft version for a mobile phone? Like the LG View, tired iPhones having all the fun. I know last year, I remember there was a leak of like a supposed kind of World of Warcraft for iPhone that people were talking about. I mean, when you think of the mobile platforms, how does Blizzard approach that?
Well, first I would tell you, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Exactly, right?
That's for sure.
It's all true.
Because I don't think that one's going to be able to happen anytime soon.
There's that amazing video, though, where they pretended to have the whole 3D World of Warcraft working.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what we have done is we've put out a mobile authenticator to help protect accounts. We've also put out the mobile armory, so people are going to be able to access their characters and check them out. And there's going to be more in that vein. So I think that there's going to be some cool things that people can come to expect from us on that. But the actual full game, not yet, and I would say it's going to be a while.
What about iPhone games? Because you look at, BioWare is now off doing like a Mass Effect for iPhone. I mean, a lot of game companies are getting very excited about iPhone just as a platform for
We're
original
excited
titles.
about it too. But what I would tell you is that one of the key things that helps Blizzard do what we do is focus.
Right.
And we've got a number of games going right now. We've got, the World of Warcraft stuff, StarCraft, Diablo, our unannounced title. And then we've got the cinematics team. We've got all the different things that are going on with Battle.net. That's a lot to have on any company's plate. And so the idea of then trying to add these other types of games, even though they're smaller on the iPhone comparatively to what we do, it's then starting to stretch our focus, and we don't want to have a situation where we're going to start faltering and taking our eye off the ball of the really key projects we have.
Absolutely.
In a related question, I know that we have the Armory on iPhone, which has been very popular, but have you considered putting it out on other platforms like the Android phones? Is that something you're talking about internally?
I think right now, not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go to another tweet question that's coming in for you. A lot of these questions, this comes from Thormore. He says, will BlizzCon ever come to the U.S. East Coast? I think, a lot of fans are wondering where BlizzCon will go in the future. What can you tell your fans around the world about plans for BlizzCon going forward?
Yeah, well, with BlizzCon, one of the big reasons we do it in Anaheim, candidly, is because we're utilizing our employees to staff the show. We've got over 500 customer service people here alone working the show, not to mention all of our developers are here, all of our management is here. To be able to take this show on the road with this size and complexity will be difficult. Now, what I will say is that this year we've got almost 30,000 people here live, in person. And this building, while awesome, is feeling like it's going to be bursting at the seams soon.
Yeah.
So I would envision us needing to look at other places potentially if we decide to grow it and to bring more players in. So if that happens, then we're going to have to really start seriously looking at other venues, and it could go other places in the U.S. and it could go overseas, candidly, because we have players everywhere, and if we're going to travel and we've got to take a bunch of folks, well,
why not go?
Why not
big?
go and do it other places too? So certainly a possibility, but we only do it once a year, so we'll see.
Excellent. All right.
Jeff and I are willing to travel.
We'll go wherever you need us to
ready
go.
to go?
We're
ready to
ready.
go, Paul.
Good.
Ready to get on the plane. All right.
Business class, I'm sure.
For
the two of you.
We'll talk about it later.
Definitely.
Exactly. All right. Let's go to another tweet here from Jared. Jared wants to know, any consideration in creating a cinematic DVD compiling all of the StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo material in the future? Have you guys thought? I know sometimes you put out DVDs with some of the collector's editions, but what about a compilation, I guess, of all the cinematics from Blizzard history?
Well, interestingly enough, we had done that already a handful of years ago, but that hasn't been refreshed with all of the new games and new cinematics. So I would say that it was cool last time, and I would envision that we'll think it's cool next time. So it's all a matter of getting enough content to justify that, and I would say after we put out the next couple of games, it's probably going to feel right again.
All right, good stuff.
Maybe with some of those great StarCraft 2 cinematics you're talking about.
Or we can just put that out by itself, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool now is with StarCraft 2, you're doing the cinematics, you know, inside of the game as well.
Yeah.
Is the cinematics team, are they doing, you know, full-scale rendered cinematics for StarCraft 2 as well, or is it going to all be in-game?
No, you're going to get some of the patented Blizzard cinematics, pre-rendered cinematics for sure.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine us delivering a game without it.
Yeah, no, well, some of the ones that they put out already for StarCraft 2 have looked phenomenal, so we can't wait to hear more about it. All right, we've got another tweet question for you. The forums are blowing up for you. This comes from Jeff Tuck, love his name. He says, ask Paul, what is the coolest product that you've ever come across for, I guess, for Blizzard games? Do you have one favorite licensed item out of everything that's been done?
We're talking about licensed items or our games themselves?
Coolest product, I guess, I don't know. I guess it could go either way. I'm
going to give you both.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Go for it.
So the very best game, in my opinion, that Blizzard's ever made is StarCraft.
That's right.
That was an easy one, right?
Exactly.
Everybody knows that's my favorite by far. I think our best game in the future is going to be StarCraft 2. I know that sounds surprising.
Have you played through StarCraft 2 yet?
I have played quite a bit of it, but I have not played all the way through. They haven't let us yet.
Okay.
So what they do when we're working towards bringing the game to completion, they have us play the the missions, I should say, that they feel comfortable with us playing, and they also hold some back because they want to have fresh eyes. So what happens is they'll say, okay, this team is going to play these particular missions, work through those, give you feedback, and then they'll go back and work on it, and then they'll bring fresh eyes in. So somewhere in that process, you get brought in, your team, and you'll get to see it for the first time. Hopefully it's later in the process so you can see it even more polished. But we haven't gotten to the point where we're getting into the later ones yet, because now that we have a little bit more time, they're really going back and doing another Blizzard polish run on that. As it relates to the licensed products, I would say, I know this is going to sound real cutesy, but I love the plush Murlocs that we do.
Right, yeah.
And my kids do also. And I think a lot of folks around here are too, because we've got 3 new colors. So I love those ones. I love Frostmourne, the sword as well. Got that in my office, proudly hung. So those are the ones that are probably personal favorites, but we have a lot of good ones.
Excellent. All right.
I had a follow-up question on that. I just forgot what it was. You're talking about StarCraft 2.
That's good, Kat.
We got another Twitter question. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. We got to go to a panel right now. Anyways, it's the World of Warcraft Dungeons and Raids panel. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Paul.
And now let's head on over to the main panel room to learn more about the future of World of Warcraft.
Welcome to the World of Warcraft Dungeons and Raids open question and answer panel with Corey Stockton, lead content designer, and Scott Mercer, lead encounter designer for World of Warcraft.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Having a good time? Awesome. So me and Scott are going to talk to you guys a little bit about what we've got planned for the Dungeons and Raids lineup for Cataclysm. So let's get right into it. So this time we wanted to take a little bit of time here at the beginning and give you guys a little bit of background about how we actually do this stuff. How do we make the dungeons? How do we make the raids? How do we script them? How do we get all that content to you guys? So we're going to break it down through a few different things and go through how that happens, first off. Then we'll get into some previews of all the new content. So everything starts with an idea. We've got a team of really, really talented creative designers on the WoW team, and basically we get together, we figure out where's this dungeon going to be, who's going to be there, what is the player going to do, and really is it an idea that's really cool enough that we want to actually go there, do a dungeon, and make it happen. There's a ton of places that we could do this stuff. You know, the lore is deep. There's tons of places we could go to place our dungeons and raids, but we really want to pick a place that we think the players are going to want to explore, and a place they're going to want to find out more information about, and where they could really have some cool bosses to have fights against. So everything basically just kicks off with the idea. From here, we basically go to a layout phase. If you've been to past BlizzCons, I think I've talked about this a few times before. We use a 2D layout tool, and we put the whole dungeon down on paper, figure out which way our players going to go, where are the bosses going to be, what exactly is the flow going to be, how is the player going to work their way through this dungeon? Is it going to be non-linear, where they can maybe have a choice, go one way or the other, or is it going to be a straight path, and we're going to guide them through and maybe give them a little bit more of a specific story experience? And all of this stuff